It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city join forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
What's up, y'all? Cats Talk Wednesday. Terry and Vinny in here. Terry will be right back. There he is. Got a few little things that we kind of have to talk about. We went to the summer when there wasn't nothing going on to now. Who knows if we even get to everything. Terry TV Brown. Of course, you dressed the way you dress. When I'm dressed the way I'm dressed. It's only fitting that we both rep our teams. Got the 49er beanie because you in a little more snow than I am, so that makes sense as well. How we doing, man?
Good to be here, man. You know, another Wednesday. We got a lot to cover in Cats Talk land.
Yeah, the Kentucky women are up 19 on Miami right now, 62-43. So that's good. You know, the SEC ACC thing, at least they holding up their end of the bargain because last night against Carolina for the men in Rip Arena, I don't know. We didn't get blown out. I guess that's the only positive. Still lost to a good team though.
But a game we should have won. You look at
my gosh.
ESPN predictor of that win predictor percentage. It was Kentucky until it wasn't. And that's a game you got to have at home. And so now we have to start talking some uncomfortable conversations because the standard is a standard. And being 0-3 against the only real teams you've played this year, which on Friday could be 0-4.
Oof.
And the for the previous three, including last night, the biggest takeaway is Kentucky's getting pushed around.
Yeah.
Offensive boards pushed around, like just and I see a lot of people. I'm not saying fire anybody in the middle of the season. What I am saying is we got to start having conversations. That's what we have to start having, these conversations. And 0-3 this year, I think 13-14. Over his last little bit with against Power 4 teams, with the common denominator being we're being pushed around. We heard a lot of talk about charts and graphs when Coach Pope got hired and analytics, and we still went 10 minutes or so with the only field goal being a Brandon Garrison three-pointer last night in the second half of a winnable game. I'm sitting there thinking we're up 4 or 5 points. I'm thinking, get it to 7 because I don't think Carolina's got it in them to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And we just couldn't do it. Breakdowns on defense, not doing anything on offense. Like, the problem with the old previous coach was the offense was predictable and it was a lot of bad shots at the end of the shot clock by people you didn't want taking it. And last night, I saw a lot of bad contested three-point shots by people. Even though Brandon Garrison hit it, he can't be the only person that hits a three-pointer for Kentucky to be successful.
I mean, it happened in a tournament game, but every Kentucky fan is familiar with 1984 against Georgetown, the 3 for 33, in another game that they should have won. It's as far as shooting futility. I think, futility, that's the right word. Yeah. And then last night to have that scoring drought, you know, you mentioned 2 or 3 years ago, the late, great Mike Pratt was still on the call with Tom Leach, and we just can't have 3 or 4 minutes without scoring. Can't have these scoring because we saw those towards the end of the previous regime. We saw, you mentioned, bad shot selection, wrong people taking the wrong shot at the wrong time. And that compounds itself, and that's how you get a 3 or 4 or 5 minute drought in the first place. And that's what we saw last night.
There's something wrong with the wholesale substitutions.
Yeah.
Those hockey line substitutions just don't work, and that's how Kentucky gets up to a 6-8 point lead, and then all of a sudden they're down 10 or whatever. And I don't know. I just know in the micro, December is going to be rough. It's going to be a long, cold December, with all respect to the Counting Crows there. Like, it has a potential because, you get Gonzaga, you get Poo-Poo State. I mean that with all due respect. I'm not sure the directional school we're playing. But then you get St. John's, and Rick needs a W. And if you don't think Rick wants to take an L off Kentucky, right? and then you got Indiana, who wants their pound of flesh for various reasons. And then if you start looking ahead toward the SEC, and it may be very well we playing on one of them days Kentucky doesn't play on.
Because
show and other places I've been, like, getting a lot of very good players sounds good in theory. Sounds good. But basketball comes down to, do you have a dude or a dudette that can go get you a basket? That can just be like, all right, whatever the defense is doing, I got it. In Kentucky, going back to, if you want to say, Dan Issel or before, like, Kentucky's had those dudes. Now, it doesn't always mean that they win all the time, obviously, but that's what separates. And I'm looking around, and so far, I've not seen any big-time game where a Kentucky player was the best player on the court.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking back to maybe last year against Oklahoma, where Oweh, scored the 20 straight points, something like that. But not this year. Not against Louisville and Brown. Not against Fears and Michigan State. Caleb Williams bottled up for most of the night until he wasn't. And as you talk about the Ike for Gonzaga, who was eating up our bigs, seemed like he's been there forever. He's going to be a problem.
He was Adam Morrison's roommate.
Right,
and,
right.
But he was a problem. When Cal was there, I think they came to Rupp and beat us.
Yeah.
And, they rallied to beat them last year out there in Seattle, but he still got his.
And you just start looking at these trends. There are a lot of double-digit losses. There's some 20-point losses that Pope's had in this run since he's been here. So I get people want to say, oh, it's only, game 8 of year 2. Okay. Like, and people keep coming for me. I'm like, look, we've got coaches that we've honored in Rupp Arena, right? They got banners up there. And presumably Calipari will be there one day. Let's not kid ourselves. We knew early on what we had. We actually knew early on what we had with the 2 coaches that aren't up there. I don't think it's a rush to judgment to be like, I don't know. Because again, year 3, Final Four or better by year 3 for every coach that's up there, right? Cal, Elite 8, year 1, Final Four year 2, championship year 3. Tubby, championship year 1, right? If you're going to do it once, do it that first year, right? Rick, year 4, although the first 2 were probation years, right? So kind of like year 2 for Rick. He gets the Final Four. Joe B, by year 3, he's coached in 72. By 75, we in the title game.
Yep.
Rupp comes in. The tournament, NCAA tournament doesn't exist until 1939. By 1942, we're in the Final Four. And again, people hit me. It's different now. It's all different. And I respectfully say that is 80 years of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Rule changes. Negroes can play. 3-point shot. The 2-hand set shot is out. That's everything from segregation to one and done. And that's what Kentucky coaches have done.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is, if not this year, it ups the ante for next year. I'm telling you, by year 3, and I get a lot of people like, hey, you may be onto something. I've seen other tweets similar to what I've been saying, like, hey, you kind of know what you got at Kentucky. Do I think, again, does Indy be fired right now? No. He can still turn this around, maybe. But hey, the trend is not great. The trend is not great. And look, again, when Pope was first named as coach, this was my fear. That nostalgia was going to color things. Because I see a lot of people last year, oh, it was a great success. It was this. Hey, it was fun. And don't get me wrong. And I know they beat a lot of teams and the ranked teams. But we don't do anything for a Sweet 16 team. There's no banner that goes up anywhere. It was a Sweet 16 team. Granted, it had been a while since being the Sweet 16, but still, it was a Sweet 16 team. That's not what we celebrate here.
No.
So, the nostalgia factor, again, that I was afraid of is it colors everything. Oh, he gets it. He really gets it. He understands it. Look, I don't even know if Coach Cal knew all the words to On U of K. Don't care. Do I care that Tubby Smith has ever been to Tally Ho? Don't care. Did Rick Pitino ever go to Charlie Brown's or, whatever? Doesn't make me a difference. That's not what we do here. That's a Carolina thing, which is why they're sticking with Hubert Davis.
Yeah.
Who had that great run to the championship game, but it ain't what they thought it was going to be since then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like I told you before we came on here, the red flag should have been when they had all those former players coming off the bus. Because it should have been like, oh, they are spoon feeding us this nostalgia. The red flag should have gone up. Because what I tell you, when Jerry Jones is doing something crazy, when something's crazy is going on with Dallas, hey, Roger Staubach. Right? Jerry Jones getting all that flack last couple years, pictures of him doing stuff in the 50s. What did he finally do? Made up with Jimmy Johnson. Y'all remember Jimmy Johnson? How about them boys? You see what I'm saying? Right? Anytime it starts being this nostalgia thing, it's like, well, wait a minute now. What are you not like? It feels like a magic trick. Again, my Lakers, the same thing. Like I told you, Junior Buses making all these crazy decisions, and then what they do? Magic Johnson is the president. Y'all like Magic, right? Showtime?
Yeah.
Right? And poor Michael Irvin, he show up in Dallas when the Miami Hurricanes lost to whoever it was, Virginia Tech. Who's out there doing that sound for Miami now? Doing the little air horn or foghorn, whatever it is. It's Michael Irvin. Y'all remember you, right? Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
Y'all like Michael Irvin. Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions. Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
And that's what these teams do. Right? I mean, we saw it just last year with the Luka trade. All of a sudden, now they doing stuff for Dirk. Hey. All of a sudden, hey, y'all trade Luka? Dirk getting a statue. Y'all know the one-legged thing Dirk did? Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Right? But that's what teams do. And, I just hate the nostalgia. People, because I'm like, hey, and I know we're going to talk about Stoops and football, but I just don't understand this. All of a sudden, Kentucky fans care about, well, he played here. That's not what we do. Carolina does that. That looks like it's going to be Duke's thing. That's never been Kentucky's thing. Since Joe B, right? I know Joe B played and coach, but That's not you. Kentucky's like, hey, we'll find the best we can find and we'll go in that direction. Because why? Nostalgia blinds us.
Mm.
And it's been, oh, the Denims might come back, and he was championship captain of the championship '96 team.
Mm.
Okay, that's great, and I loved it. April 1st, 1996, one of the best nights of my young life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's that got to do with coaching? As I've said, playing somewhere and coaching, two different things.
Yeah.
It just is. And just let me say, I want him to be successful. I want every coach for every Kentucky team to be successful. But as I've been told the last couple of years, the standard is a standard. And what have you seen over this year and 8 games that lead you to believe the standard can be met?
Yeah, that's look at last look. It's regressing really. I said it the other day. The stuff we're seeing now, if you're gonna take your lumps, it should have happened last year, and then you rise and go from there. And it started beating all these ranked teams, and now what you said the record was against ranked teams now? Power.
It was 15-15, and I don't know. It wasn't a Corey Price tweet, so I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but it feels that way. Like, yeah, we beat some teams, but we lost by double digits to some teams.
Yeah,
which is not the way it should go. But also, this is kind of what a lot of you guys in Kentucky Nation, Big Blue Nation wanted. You didn't want NBA players anymore. Didn't care about having NBA players. But you know who cuts down the nets? Teams with NBA players on them. You know who gets on the women's side? Teams with WNBA players on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people talk about Caitlin being a one-woman show in Iowa. Kate Martin, she's not a superstar, but she's in the WNBA. 2 people off that Iowa team are in the WNBA playing. Mm-hmm. Like, but this is what y'all wanted. You wanted this fake Hoosiers play for the name on the front and all this kind of stuff, when in the bottom of it, you need a go-get-a-bucket guy. And like I've been saying, my fear is the way Pope constructs these rosters, we're not going to have that dude where in crunch time, like Caleb Williams, does his thing. Like that's my biggest fear. And that's not been the way Kentucky's operated for 80 years. No. You get the best people you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Does it guarantee? No, it doesn't guarantee, but it helps. Like, it absolutely helps to have elite talent.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what people wanted. They wanted this rah in college basketball. Okay. This is what you wanted, man. We got a bunch of really good players. They're really good citizens on and off the court. But I need less videos of kissing babies and signing autographs. Spend that time diagramming an offense. Spend that time getting those dudes to dive for loose balls.
Yeah.
Rebounding is effort.
Man.
Loose balls. Of everything Cam Newton did in his career, what's the one thing people point out? The Super Bowl where the ball was fumbled and he stood there.
Mm-hmm.
That has become his defining thing, ignoring everything else, ignoring that he's trying to throw to Ted Ginn Jr., like ignoring everything else, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that play has become his signature moment. And my thing with that is if you're coaching hustle at the beginning of December, that's a lost season, man. Like that's a lost season. Mm-hmm. And I get it. It was time to move on. The Cal thing had run its course. I am fully on board with that. But hey, right now ain't it either.
I ain't fully on board with what we got now yet. Yeah.
And the thing about Cal is at least Cal could be like, himself. Hey, y'all remember I brought Anthony Davis? Y'all remember the Brown?
Yeah.
Y'all remember Brandon Knight? I told him shoot that shot.
Yeah.
You like them plays I diagrammed for Aaron Harrison? Cal himself could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But, right, it's what have you done for me lately? And again,
Yeah.
I want them to turn it around. But looking at this team, how?
Yeah.
Like who is going to make the leap that we want to see? It's clear that Owe is limited on what he can do.
Mm-hmm. We talking about him too, where he should have
I
dove on the
said
floor.
last year. Yeah, there was that play. There was a couple other hustle plays, like just two hands on the ball, guys. But Owe, I think, is limited. I think I said last year, if he was 2 or 3 inches taller, he ain't coming back for another year, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have that. And the way Pope likes to run his offense, you have to have an elite passing big man, and them things don't grow on trees, buddy. Like if that's what you're looking for your offense.
We had our skepticism. We said that before the season started about who was trying to fill that role, who's going to step in and fill the Amari role, and your returning players, returning bigs. We already ain't trying to kill the man, but we said we both, because you made sure to let everybody know. Look, I get accused of the sunshine pumper, but if you're watching the game with me, I'm just like everybody else.
I am.
And we had reservations about the ability of the 5 to facilitate to the level of what we saw with Amari in post first year.
And asking Marino to be that guy is unfair.
Yeah.
He that's the thing is my wife is into basketball now, thanks to Caitlin Clark and everything like that. So we watch a lot of basketball. So we're watching Iowa women's basketball, and they got a hot freshman prospect, Addie Deal. And she struggled a little bit. And my wife was like, I can't believe this, But I'm like, this is what a freshman is supposed to look like. Like, I think a lot of these one and dones, we kind of lost track of. The majority of freshmen look like this 10 games into their freshman year.
Yeah.
Like, the game is going to be too fast for them, right? Like, what is your expectation? And plus, it's always that human thing of, well, Caitlin Clark did this. Like, yeah, but she's a once-in-a-generation talent, right? How many times are the Kentucky fans? Well, the 96 team did. The 2012 team did. Those are, even by Kentucky standards, those teams are anomalies, right? Like, you can't just base everything off of, the best thing you ever saw, right? You can't go to a 5-star Michelin restaurant and then go to McDonald's and be like, well, I went to Chef Andre's and the beef was savory. Like, it ain't going to be that all the time, right? But I don't know who makes it. I don't need any more catchphrases. I don't need more Taylor Swift quotes. My whole thing. And look, I love Mark Pope. I want him to be successful. But I understand the assignment. When you keep repeating it, do you understand? Because, and I said this, and some people came at me like, Coach Cal understood the assignment because he got John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, and DeMarcus Cousins on campus. That's understanding the assignment. That's not losing your third game until March, right? Tubby Smith understood the assignment. I got this team of vets. They're top to bottom, maybe not the most talented, but I understand what the assignment is with this group that's won championships. And that's to take them to another championship, right? Rick Pitino understood the assignment. Basically, y'all stick with me through probation, and this is what we're going to do. Because we had John Pelfrey come through, and I had to bring my wife up to speed on the Unforgettables, right? That's understanding the assignment. That is Joe B. Hall like, hey, I got to replace the guy whose name is on the building, right? was going to be on the bill, whatever, and by one championship, right? That's understanding the assignment. It's not reciting Kentucky facts. It's not kissing babies and high-fiving people. That's nice, but that's not necessary. Then it's necessary to win.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, hey, again, it's rough out there. It's rough.
Yes.
And like we talked about, well, we got people injured, and I know there's that people got the numbers. This is like the 8th or 9th straight year Kentucky's had major people miss for injuries, right? Pope only been here for 2. Prior to that, no excuses for injuries. You know, Ty got hurt, and Casey Wallace was hurt for a bunch of games. Like, dudes, you know, especially like Casey Wallace, who's like 6th man on an NBA championship team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be clear that talent was still coming through here, even though people don't care about the NBA. If those injuries, if you don't get anything for those, you can't give anything for that. Like the standard can't hide whether or not you like the coach, or whether or not the coach can find Paintsville on a map, right? Like that ain't what the job requires. It's nice, but the job requires you to win. Do the people calling Feinbaum show, do they care whether or not Nick Saban knew the major exports going in and out of the state of Alabama? No, because he won a championship every year. Like that's what are we doing? Right? Does Ryan Day need to understand what goes on in Columbus and Cincinnati and Cleveland? No, he does not. He doesn't even need to know why they dot the I in Ohio. He needs to beat Michigan, which they finally did, and win championships. Like that is the ask.
Yeah. That's it.
Like, because I said, we rarely see players come back and have success. Somebody pointed out Kirby Smart. Like I told you, Kirby Smart at Georgia, he's the coach of Georgia because he was on Nick Saban's staff as a coordinator. Not because he played there and had like 3 tackles or whatever. Like that, they're like, oh yeah, he did. By the way, he did play here. Like that's like that's not why he got the job. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah.
So that's where I am on basketball. It's like I'm gonna watch it on Friday, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's no way there's no way to not feel that way after what we've seen. And until they convince us that we don't have to feel that way, you know, that's how they're going to feel.
And the thing is, at least Cal gave us a proof of concept, right? He had, and that was another thing I had with Pope is coaching at BYU is one thing. But previous to him, we were getting coaches, except for Billy Gillespie, Texas A&M, but like known commodities. Like we could talk about Cal and his stuff being vacated, but he had Memphis in the championship game.
Yes.
He had UMass with Marcus Camby and some dudes that went pro in something other than basketball, beat the best team I've ever seen on the college level, and kind of sort of got close to doing it again in the Final Four if we keep it at 100, right? So Cal had proof of concept. So when I was saying the latter years of Cal, I have seen Cal's teams at Kentucky in 2011, right? That team looked bad.
Yeah.
Until they didn't. In 2014. So you have proof of concept he could turn around until it was clear like, okay, the magic's gone. We don't have that with Pope. Tubby got to Sweet 16s with Tulsa and Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
And had Syracuse beat who we beat in the championship game. Like John Wallace had to hit a buzzer beater to beat Tubby.
Yes, right? And we know Rick with what he did at Providence and Boston, that we took him from the Knicks.
Yeah.
Right? Like even Eddie Sutton had it going on in Arkansas.
He had them in the Final Four, I think in 78. So, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was another thing is okay, we're not going to get the UNC coach or the Kansas coach, but you have to be at a high level because it's different.
Yo,
And that's another. Plus the defense. His team's never been good at defense. But what do we do in Kentucky? We play defense. I don't think Cal gets enough credit for the defense his team's played. Well, he had
That's
Anthony
why
Davis. Well, yeah, that's part of coaching is recruiting. Like I don't understand how people like. Well, yeah, it helps. Like I love the triangle offense, but it helps if one point of your triangle is Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen is the other one. It also helps if Shaq is one point of the triangle and Kobe Bryant is the other, right? Like, but you have to have the dudes.
and as far as that keeping it in the family, like you said, Duke does it, Syracuse, Carolina, all of the guys in our family, resume wise, hadn't done enough. Travis Ford was out there. He was at Oklahoma State and EKU, and Pelfrey was at Arkansas and didn't do great.
Yeah.
Scott Padgett down there at Sanford and, doing this and that.
Nobody
had set the world on fire from a resume standpoint to where they was good enough to come back for us to be like, yeah, bring them back. Nobody had those guys hadn't done what Patino, Sutton, Tubby, Rick, Cal had done. None of it.
Yeah.
So that's
right. Which leads me to the football discourse. And people being mad on John Summerall. Look, man. It was time for it was time for Stoops to go. I mean, I think it was written on the wall, and people came out to me. Remember what I said when we had the 3-game winning streak, and I said, hey, if he gets to 7-5, it's going to be tough to not bring him back. That's what I said. I remember what I said when I said it. I didn't say I'm all in on Stoops. That is not what I said. I just said, hey, it's going to be tough. Well, Stoops, getting outscored 86-17 in the last couple of games with bowl eligibility and possibly your job on the line, it's a gots to go, right? And then, of course, everybody, piling on, and we didn't get Summerall. I'm like, did he ever say he wanted the job? Because that was my concern is, yeah, that's my alma mater, but that's a dumpster fire, and there's all these other jobs open. Like, we knew Florida was going to open, and then LSU opens, and then, Arkansas is also open, and it's like, I know he's the hometown kid, but does he want the job?
I think, he hasn't done it at a big level, but for his sample size, I think his resume is better than the basketball guys in the family that we just talked about. Because, he went to Troy and won 9-10 games, went to Tulane and is winning.
Yeah.
And from the media types that's got sources and is really close to the program, I guess, the whole disaster with Texas A&M 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
If that had materialized and Stoops had went and took that job, apparently, allegedly, Summerall would have taken it then. But maybe last year, had they got him out of here at 4-8, he still might take it. But to come up, he's on everybody's radar. And when other people that are higher profile than us are after him, since you didn't make a move on him after last year, and to come up, hey, the man done came up, and Auburn, Florida, whoever else's radar he was on, he gotta holler see what they talking about first, and you can't blame him.
Yeah, and look, Stoops had to go.
Yeah.
I'm glad he is structuring his buyout to be helpful.
Yeah.
That's solid.
Yes,
right.
That's
a solid move. Because for me, it's run me my coins. And people were like, oh, legacy. Legacy for who? Give me my $39 million and I will never come back to the Commonwealth of Kentucky ever again. Like legacy is for us to talk about, but what does that mean? Like his legacy is right now he's all-time winningest coach in Kentucky history, whether or not we like him. If I see people like if he really loved the program, he would no coach is leaving money on the table. I see there's a segment of Louisville fans that want Kenny Payne to stop getting his money. I'm like, you all are insane. If he loves the program, look, run me my coins. Okay, let's keep it 100. No coach is turning down $39 million. The legacy in that is a legacy for my family that I'm building. Like, what are you talking about? But I'm glad he's restructuring.
And this contract, and the fact that it did get restructured, the fact that it needed to be restructured, did he put a gun to their head and make them offer him a contract that said, "Give me my money in 60 days"? I mean that. I know.
Look, I have cooled off a lot on Mitch Barnhart as an AD. What I'm not going to do is look at these contracts because again, there's close to $300 million in dead money going to coaches this offseason. $200 million last year. Like
yeah.
He ain't the only one. Like
right.
This is like we had the governor of Louisiana talk about Brian Kelly and how they were never ever going to do a contract like that again, and then 2 weeks later, Lane Kiffin signs a contract that's even worse than the Brian Kelly contract. These people can't help themselves, so I get it. I'm cool on Mitch.
Yeah.
I think it's time, but I'm not hanging him for that because it made sense. You've got the best football coach you've ever had at Kentucky that's made Kentucky into a reasonable winner, which I never thought I would see.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I would see that. A 10-win Kentucky team, 5-3 in the SEC, winning streaks against SEC teams, outside of Vanderbilt, and now we've seen Vanderbilt really is like outside of Vanderbilt, winning streaks against these teams, against Florida. Stuff I never thought we would see, so I understand you reward that. We can debate on the numbers and all that kind of stuff, but I understand it. It made sense to me.
We gonna screw ourselves. If it gets sideways, we know we screwed, but you can we'll offer it to you anyway, even though we know if push comes to shove, we can't have this money for you. And I mean, you couldn't negotiate that and still reward him. Yeah,
and I get that. I
know
right?
Jimmy Sexton is the most all powerful, Darth Vader agent in the world, and he got all these ADs just by the neck, and I guess they just have to do what he says. I don't know, but I mean,
we got to touch on that with the whole Lane Kiffin. Look, man. All right, we're gonna get to Will Stein. I forgot that. But Lane Kiffin, in a world as gross as college football, he's the grossest. Lane Kiffin, 1, is not a victim. 2, he's not innocent. And 3, I know because Summerall is going to be coaching through the playoff, and people are like, well, all these other coaches doing it. I cannot ignore everything else that Lane Kiffin has done to this point. You're there in Knoxville. Say Lane Kiffin's name and see what happened in Knoxville.
5 years after he left, when Ole Miss returned to Knoxville, we saw what happened. He was gone. It wasn't like he's coming back the next year. Y'all saw anything they get their hands on, they was hurled it down on that field.
So there was that tweet of the top 5 Lane Kiffin departures. I've told you before, my wife, Iowa born and raised, follows college football, but not like we do in the South. Big Ten football is a little bit different. Until Urban Meyer showed up, it really wasn't all that messy, right? And she's an Iowa fan, and they've had 2 coaches in 50 years. So this is strange to them. So she's like, what's this Lane Kiffin? And I had to explain to her the 5 departures of Lane Kiffin. 1, right, it starts with Oakland and the Raiders and Al Davis, God rest his soul, not doing a PowerPoint, but using an overhead projector on why Lane Kiffin was trash and couldn't trust him. He was hoodwinked, all this kind of stuff. Did you know Al Davis wrote a letter to Tennessee and told them, you will be sorry if you hire this guy?
Yeah.
They hired him, and less than a calendar year later, the program was in shambles.
Yes.
And then he gets to USC.
His dream job.
Put a pin in that. Gets to USC, and it's so bad that there's a clip of people coming to the USC athletic director in real time, and you can see the machinations of, we're going to fire this guy. Like, if we didn't have to go back to LA, we would leave him here. How do I know that? Is because they got back to the airport, the team got on the bus, the athletic director got on the bus and pulled Lane off of the bus and said, hey, man.
Basically, he got Chris Paul.
We going to get to that too. Like, I'm going to need your laptop. I'm going to need your ID badge.
Yeah,
it ain't even like that video where the football players going, like, no, you just give that to us right now.
Yeah.
So then he goes to Alabama, and Nick Saban, who's trying to win a championship, says, I don't like your get down, offensive coordinator, leading up to the championship game, and says, you have to go.
Yeah.
I don't like what you're doing. That's 4, right? Oakland, Tennessee, USC, Alabama. And then he does the rehab thing at Florida Atlantic. Okay. All right. And then Ole Miss. Y'all knew that man, once he took the LSU job, he could not coach Ole Miss. I don't care what Summerall, like, no. Ole Miss cannot have LSU's head coach in the building. Well, it's about the kids and all this. Like, I've seen people talk about virtue signaling. Like, y'all ride die for Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin. Do you know how hard you have to work as Lane Kiffin to get me to be sympathetic to Ole Miss? The Rebels? That when we were at UK, we're still waving the Confederate flag? Do you know how bad you have to be as a Lane Kiffin for me to be like, hey, man, that's rough what you're doing to them?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you saw, Bomani had been saying the same things I've said about Mississippi. They were so tired of doing it the old way, they did not offer Walter Payton or Jay Rice.
Yeah.
That's how tied to their get down they were. Or Steve McNair.
It's ridiculous the dudes out of that state that didn't go to Mississippi State or Ole Miss.
Jackson State and Mississippi Valley State. Mississippi Valley State got 2 Hall of Famers, Jerry and Deacon Jones, the man who invented the term sack.
Yes.
But Mississippi said, nah, we're going to keep doing it like this. Like, but Lane had finally got away from all that, was doing different things. Look, man, y'all can rock with Lane if you want to. It's going to be crazy down at LSU because them folks is crazy. What he's looking for, he could have gotten at Ole Miss.
He wanted his cake and tried to eat it too. That's what he was doing.
He wants to be beloved, and that's not how they do it at LSU. They are of the opinion, and it's hard to argue, like, hey, it kind of really doesn't matter who's doing this. We've won with Coach O.
We've got that
with Les Miles.
Yeah.
This is where Nick Saban cut his teeth. You, as long as you don't screw it up, we can compete. You're not going to get that love that he would have got at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, I mean, he could have stayed there and they could have really, he would have had a statue while he was still coaching.
He got them to where he was trying to build him to, and then he trying to leave. This is what you've been here 6 years for, to get to this point. But 10 wins, now 11 for the first time ever, and nope, I gotta leave. It's time to go.
And when you got Eli Manning dunking on you on the internet, and Lane Kiffin lies. Like, I'm not talking about the coaches, we all in this together, but like, they try to run, Mississippi fans try to run me off the road. You had a police escort to the, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why? Then it come to find out the dog ain't his. The dog that he's been tweeting, my dad Lane is awesome. The dog is staying with other people. What is this? Like, what is this? And to wrap it all up, I am not a theologian. I'm not going to tell anybody how to do they Jesus. But I have a tough time believing Jesus told you to act like this, to leave Ole Miss and go to LSU. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's how Jesus operates. Was Jesus wanted you to coach in the playoffs? That I don't buy that at all.
And I'm careful how I say it, because the whole I wish my dad was here to guide me. I get that. As you do as well. And we know Monty just passed, and I'm not doubting that you maybe wish you had Monty. You could just call him. Monty in the office sitting there with you, going over the pros and cons. Well, when I was at NC State, our guy David Davis was there with Monty. But when I was at NC State, this offer came along and blah, blah, blah. He could give him some of the best advice a father could give a son, because Monty doesn't live that life. And now Lane is the son of a coach doing the same thing. I get all of that, and not having him by your side in that moment. On the other hand, this isn't the first time he's moved. You just went through the 5 departures of Lane Kiffin. He's had jobs before. He's weighed options before. He's had to decide, do I leave for another job? You've done it. You was the youngest coach in NFL history with you was like 35 years old, younger than Will Stein is now at Kentucky. You was with the Oakland Raiders. So you have an idea. Yeah.
Right, and Monty Kiffin being an old-time NFL guy, that had to hurt his feelings, hurt his heart, that Al Davis, who, again, his own self was wild as hell. Google how he got to be the majority owner of the Raiders. Google it. Okay? And Al Davis is like, I can't trust you. The same Al Davis that moved the Raiders all over the place. Told the NFL, go to hell. Sued the NFL and won. The Raiders have been top 2 or 3 in penalties since the merger. That is their get down.
Yeah.
And that guy said, hey, this Lane is something else.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm with you. I wish my dad was here. Okay, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But we have seen your resume.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen your movies.
Yeah.
Look, I had my mom with me over Thanksgiving. She likes all these Jason Statham movies. Every Jason Statham movie is the exact same. He's a retired military guy who's trying to lead a quiet life, and then he gets pulled in. And he's got to save somebody, and he kills a bunch of people. Every movie. We watched the Beekeeper, and we watched The Working Man. Same thing. Just saw a trailer today. There's another one. He's working out of a lighthouse. Sure, I've seen your movies, Jason Statham. The Transporter, name them all. He just wants to be left alone. Now he's pulled back in. Now the bodies are starting to pile up. And he's like, you should have let me be retired. I say that to say, if Jason Statham come out and be like, I'm trying to win an Academy Award, I'm trying to be serious. Jason Statham, I've seen your movies. I know what you do. Love what you do, but I know what you do. So all this stuff, I'm supposed to. It was a tough decision for Lane, and you know how the calendar is. I know that dude can't walk around Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I know that dude was so bad at his job at Southern California, the AD took him off the bus. I know an 80-year-old Al Davis did an overhead projection on why this dude sucks and wrote a letter, not of recommendation, of condemnation to Tennessee that came true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to tell y'all.
Like, this dude is trouble. This dude's gonna leave your program in shambles. And Tennessee, during that stretch, we're like, we can do whatever we can to capture that full Philip Fulmer gold, right? That was the whole thing. And it didn't work out. And Al Day was like, I told y'all.
Yeah.
I told y'all. And then Nick Saban gonna sit on the college game day set and talk about, well, you know, Lane's heart's in the right place. You're the one that sent him home.
Wow.
You're the one that said, this dude is like, you showed us he couldn't do two things at the same time. You, Nick Saban, showed us that you being Nick Saban couldn't keep him doing his job.
Yeah.
You said it, not us. You said the week before the national championship game, he's doing too much. He got to get out of here. That's what you said. Now, well, you know, no, he couldn't coach that team.
Yeah. That's
Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's what happened. That's why Steve Fisher has a championship ring coaching Michigan, because Bill Frieder decided to go to Arizona State for Michigan, which, why would you do that? But, hey, Bo Schembechler, the AD, is like, hey, a Michigan man coaches Michigan. And then they won a championship. So, look, man, whatever. The Lane saga, I just stay amazed at who gets passes and who doesn't get passes when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then people are going to talk about NIL ruining college sports. The Lane Kiffin thing ruins college sports. The fact that $200 million a year going on dead contracts, that is mind-boggling to me. That's what's ruining college sports. LSU, one of the poorest states in the union, now has 3 coaches that they're paying. Coach O, Ryan Kelly, and now Lane Kiffin. That's what's killing college sports, not because some kid could be in a commercial for the local food restaurant or whatever it is. Yeah. That's what's killing it. But whatever. I'm not a fan of Lane Kiffin, and the dude hasn't won anything.
Yeah.
I keep saying, like, for this dude. Like, I get he's had some wins with Ole Miss, but what are we looking at? What has he done?
This would have been his best. This would have been his chance to win something, but you know, he couldn't. He couldn't stay there any longer. The roving eye, and look, call me crazy. You just broke down his track record, how he is, how he gets down, how he operates. Let Kalen DeBoer keep tripping at Alabama, and Lane gonna want to be in Tuscaloosa before he even gets settled in Baton Rouge. Just because, say he won't be eyeing Alabama. If let Georgia beat Alabama in this SEC championship game, DeBoer ain't on solid ground already, and let them get a little more restless, and LSU will be flipping the Lane off at the airport just like they are in Oxford, because he'll be wanting to go to Tuscaloosa, and his bags are still packed from just getting to Baton Rouge. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, how you get somebody is how you might lose them. That's what my dad told me. Like, how you lose somebody, if you the side piece, don't be surprised when your side piece become the main piece, and you become the side piece. It worked like that sometimes. It just does, man. Hey, that dude, and the fact that he basically redid his USC introductory press conference almost word for word.
I have to pull it up.
And like he just scratched out, "I'm so glad to be here in Southern Louisiana." Like, I mean, it wasn't quite like that, but it's like people are pointing like he's got this down. This is the best job ever. Why do I know that? Because that's what he said in Knoxville, and Southern Cal, and Oxford, wherever Florida Atlantic is.
Is it Boca Raton?
I think it is. And then that's what he said in Baton Rouge.
Oh, I had to listen. I didn't.
It's very much note for note. I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Also, we gotta give love. We got Will Stein coming to take over the Kentucky Wildcats. Louisville kid, Kentucky fan. Again, that's nice, but we need wins. Okay, we need some wins. Oregon has looked good.
Yes.
Can he bring that here? Let's see. I hope he can. But we'll see. And then my favorite, I love the rivalry just as much as the next person. But the Louisville fans like, Kentucky's getting a former Louisville player to lead their program. Little brother, ha ha ha. And my brothers and sisters in Christ, Howard Schnellenberger played for the University of Kentucky, and he's the reason Louisville's football program. Like, you have to be self-aware if you're going to make jokey jokes.
Because don't let it get turned right back around on you. At least do your research before you try to pop off.
Like, oh, y'all taking coaches from Louisville? Like, Rick Pitino says hi. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's going to be some overlap, right? But anyway, will Will Stein work out? I don't know. My concern, and I said this on Round of Shots, is like, what do you think Kentucky football should be? Most people said, 8 wins. This is what I'll say. I bring these numbers up a lot. Over the last 10 years, 4 programs out of the 135 Division I programs, or FBS programs, I say Division I and 1AA because I'm an old person, but only 4 FBS teams have at least 8 wins over the last decade in each year. Can you name them?
Only 4.
Only 4 have reached 8 or more wins over the last decade.
And I know I was in there. I watched Round of Shots too, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and say it because I'd be cheating. I did catch y'all's episode Sunday,
so yeah, Iowa is 1. Ohio State,
okay,
Georgia, and Alabama. Only 4 over the last decade have reached 8 or more wins.
Every year
over the last decade. My point being, if you make 8 wins your floor, you're leaving out Michigan, Clemson, Texas, USC, Notre Dame, teams that take this football way more serious than we do. That's all I'm saying. So again, I've been saying this since I moved to Iowa, right? Like, Kentucky needs to be the Iowa of the SEC. You know how we just got boat raced 84-16 to Vanderbilt, Louisville, and whatever the Tennessee score was? Iowa plays for all these ridiculous trophies. Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. They outscored those opponents by combined 99 points. They beat Nebraska 40-16, and the game wasn't even that close. That's how you do it. You get to 8 wins. You win those games you're supposed to win. Is the ask that Kentucky compete for a national championship? I think that's too much to ask. And people can say, oh, that's, accepted mediocrity. When have we seen, of all the teams that win these championships over the last 20 years, where are the surprise names you've never heard of?
Yeah.
Where's the Cinderella football program? Oregon almost has been, right? Kinda.
Yeah.
TCU showed up and Georgia beat the hell out of them, right? Boise State's got some good plays and some good memories, but that's a long time ago. When you that's a long time ago.
So you said 20 years ago. That's Texas and Vince Young is 20 years ago.
Right. Right. How do I know that? Because my oldest was born during that, right before that game.
Wow.
I had an arm baby watching that game.
Wow.
And she getting ready to be 20, and I'm at the end of the month, and I am not dealing with that well. But that's what I'm saying. Is like, where are these teams coming up from football that are making this leap? Right?
Mm-hmm.
The jury's still out on Indiana. We saw what happened when they got in the playoff last year, right?
Yeah.
And the issue is with these big conferences, like Indiana didn't play anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they played at Oregon. Okay.
Well, yeah, they did.
This is their first time playing Ohio State. They didn't play Michigan this year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? With the unbalanced schedules in these conferences, you can be undefeated and not play any top teams in your conference. The way the schedule is weighted.
That's that rap Missouri was on for a couple of years because they wasn't playing Alabama and Georgia and
right.
Like LSU, and and we was getting all of them, and they
right. And so you got these unbalanced super conferences, and it's wild. And so, I want Kentucky to compete in everything, but I'm realistic, and I can say 7-8 wins, yes. As Bomani and Spencer Hall talk about all the time, it's where you getting those 8 wins, right? Do you take 7-5 if you're Kentucky? If you beat Tennessee and Louisville, I think you do.
Absolutely.
Or do you take 8 wins, lose those? You see what I'm saying? Like, because as I've said before, college football is the most emotional of all the sports.
Yeah.
It's all about how it makes you feel. There's the stupid trophies. There's the pomp and circumstance of the tailgating. I mean, I know they do that in NFL, but like the tailgating. It's like you're in a small town for the most part, and you come back in and it's tailgating and it's the alma mater and it's marching bands and it's, it's Memphis and UAB playing for Bones. It's Minnesota and Wisconsin playing for Paul Bunyan's axe. Like college football is this thing, right? And so it's emotional, and you have to win those games. My thing is, should we be better than Louisville? I believe Kentucky should be. We should be. We should not be getting embarrassed in back-to-back years in football than Louisville. I don't think that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Should we be better than Vanderbilt? I believe so, but we're not. We were, but we're not.
Yeah.
I think should we be better than Missouri? Probably. I think so. Should we be better than South Carolina? Yeah. I'd say so. Yeah. And when you get embarrassed by your equals, again, I keep pointing out Iowa. Beat your rivals, and every now and then steal one against the big boy. You remember a few weeks ago, I talked about how Iowa a few years ago beat Ohio State 55-17, and you looked it up, and it was like 7 or 8 years, and we had not scored 55 points against Georgia in total. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to give folks that, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I hope Will Stein does great.
Yeah.
I don't know all the machinations of what needs to take place, but yeah, I'm still cool on Mitch Barnhart. Not to get into a political debate, but did you see the Pablo Torre story about Riley Gaines?
The receiver from Florida.
No, no. Riley Gaines, a swimmer from Kentucky. Anyway,
no, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Who was that thing?
Riley. Yeah, it's Riley Cooper.
Yeah, that's where I was. That's where my mom went. Yeah. My bad. Yeah.
But the athletic department fumbling at that. Like, and that's on me. When the swimming stuff first came out, I was like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't read the details. Should have read the details, brother. A lot of people should have been gone. That's why I'm kind of cool on Mitch. Not to get into all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But talk about Chris Paul.
Oh, my thoughts on Will Stein. I'm happy.
Oh yeah,
I'm happy.
My bad.
Just a young guy, like you said. Should you have to have ties? No, but you knew when the time ended, you knew they were going. Whoever was coming was going to be an offensive guy, no matter what, because we've seen a decade and a half of trying to win 16-13 and no continuity at offensive coordinator. You're replacing the offensive coordinator every couple of years. No wonder you had to go to the transfer portal for quarterbacks every year because we didn't even know who the offensive coordinator is going to be every year.
Yep.
So, like you said, Stein's offenses look good. He did it at UT San Antonio. He did it at Oregon. Everybody, now that he's been hired, all of BBN has went into the YouTube video to feed the studs and get the guys the ball in space. Nothing earth-shattering, but it is cool the way he presented it. And, seems like a smart dude, a young guy. So that's, 36, younger. My thing, just get you a defensive coordinator that's competent and let him cook. So just don't be hiring a defensive coordinator every other year. That's just get you some. If it's Charlie Strong, rock with him. If Charlie want to come and be our DC, the Louisville fans can lose their minds about that. So I'm excited. We had the official welcome. He was about the most positive thing about the ball game. Tayshaun and Will Stein being the Y was probably the highlights of the evening. So.
Double Y, baby, double Y.
They had 2 Ys. His mom's cake business is blowing up, so good for her. Sissy Cakes up there in Louisville, St. Matthews, because she's making all these good cakes. So that's great. And I might even order me one, or if in Louisville, stop in there and buy one. So looking forward to it. Excited about it. Hope he does well. Curious to see who he gets on the staff. That's going to be fun to see him fill out his staff. And had to get that in there, and the welcoming went well at the Nutter practice facility. So he's officially here, going back to Oregon to do his thing, and then when their season's over, he'll be back.
Yeah.
Michelle says Arkansas is beating Louisville 36-22 right now. That is on. I have to flip over there. But you're talking about Chris Paul because we got to hit on that. I saw those tweets this morning from Marcus Spears. And our buddy JR said he was just with Chris Paul last night because the Clippers are in Atlanta. So he said, and he didn't know. He said, what? He said, I was just with him last night.
Anytime some nonsense comes out about the Clippers, I remind people that this is the best it's ever been for the Clippers. The best it's ever been has been free agent signings, one Western Conference Finals appearance, and a bunch of nonsense in Lob City. But from the signings they had up a few years ago, LA was now Clipper Town, and I'm like, get out of here with that. Could it be, and I know it's kind of funny, but could it be that people don't like Chris Paul? Like, it feels like wherever he goes, he's got a short shelf life. Because it just seems like people don't like him. Not in the like Russell Wilson weird category. He just seems like an unlikable dude when you have to play basketball with him.
Mm-hmm.
That just seems to be his vibe. And so I'm not surprised the Clippers are like, yeah, you got to get out of here. Because it seemed like he was forcing their hand with this farewell tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, okay.
Well, you just get you an early retirement. That's what we're going to do for you.
Yeah, like, all right, well, we'll cut this short. See ya. So I don't look. And I think Chris Paul, he's a top 5 point guard. I put him on that list. You know, but if you're not likable, which to me just goes to show how remarkable Vince Carter's career really was. To go from all NBA to peak to just being an end of the, but like, not a lot of people are built for that. Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I see, people coming at LeBron. Who was it? Oh, your man that I think he played for the Rockets for Chandler Parsons was complaining that LeBron was chasing his double-digit scoring, consecutive games with scoring a double-digit streak. LeBron took 10 shots last night. Like, what are we doing? Like, whatever. I had a point to bring all that together, but the fact that LeBron and Chris Paul are still out here, well, Chris Paul no longer playing, but LeBron actually playing. They just don't like Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's wow, and that lets you know too, because they all talked about it and came to a conclusion. Hey, let's go ahead and let him off right here outside the stadium and just drive off and leave him. It's basically.
I know they gave him the Lane Kiffin, like, hey, you gotta find your own way home.
Yeah.
Like, why could this wait? That was that. Like, when teams do this, they're sending a message. Like, that was the message the USC AD was saying, is like, we could wait till tomorrow. We could wait till we get back to the building, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, because that's
you are so bad. This situation is so untenable. I have to do it now.
right. Our season is beyond over. We're going nowhere. We're still going to cut bait with you in this manner, right here, right now. And we're 5-20, and whatever their record is, it's awful. Season's over, and this is what we choose to do. This the one thing we can all agree on.
And their pick goes to who? Your defending NBA champion, 22-1, Oklahoma City Thunder.
Boy.
I saw a tweet about the Thunder. Like, the Thunder have only been in existence for 17 years. And they've had 2 championship caliber big threes. And it looks like they have struck on something now. I know there's a Wemby floating out there. I understand in LA we got Luka. But hey, Oklahoma City, man.
Yeah.
And it's going to get better because the Clippers are dumb.
Yes. And OKC, they did half of this without Williams even being there. They getting him back. Yeah, so yeah, we're in the West with them and gotta compete and gotta see them multiple times of the year. I was proud of my Rockets opening night. They went in there on their ring night and should have beat them. KD makes a free throw. They beat them. They lost by 1. First game as the team is constructed with KD. So, to quote Cal, I like my team. We play the Lakers on Christmas Day. I know you saw that. So that'll be fun, as it always is. Reed Shepherd is coming along nicely in year 2. I'm biased, but I said that was my pick for most improved player, and he definitely gonna be in the mix if he keeps this up. Rockets fans were worried a little bit with KD because he had a family issue. He missed a couple games. He was out, and Reed stepped in there and just was hooping, confident, pulling up those Nick Van Exel threes that we love so much. I'd love to see. I hate the Lakers, but love to see Nick 1-on-3 pulling up and just busting a three. Yeah. Used to love that. And so Reed is doing some of that. He's getting a little bit more disruptive defensively. Fred VanVleet has been out all year with a knee, and so the word was about the point guard. What are we going to do? I mean, Şengün, the big man, he's like the little mini joker. He brings it up anyway, but Reed is taking some pressure off of him, and so I'm happy to see the young fella, finding his way.
Yeah, and Maxey's been balling out.
Oh, yeah.
There in Philadelphia. It
Yeah.
looked like he's the process. But again,
Justin
we
Edwards
cheer,
having some moments.
yeah, we can't cheer the NBA guys on because that's not what we do at Kentucky or whatever whatever the thing is. But the Niners are 9-4 on a bye week. I get to hate watch. They're 7 seed now. At worst, they move up to a 6 seed without playing. But I forget the whole scenario. But if a bunch of teams lose, they can move up to the 2nd seed. So I am excited.
I'm more excited than I was. Just a little 3 games winning streak. We had to beat the Chiefs and beat the Eagles after being down 21-0 and coming back and beating them. That's always fun. Got Detroit up there tomorrow, and that's another desperation both teams needed for the playoff positioning because right now we're on the outside looking in. So we'll see. You're playing good. Next doing his thing. Pittsburgh fans were glad to see George Pickens leave, and he's done well. Star on the side of the helmet. They were mad at CD Lamb for a few drops here and there. He had a big game last week against Kansas City, so got the 2 weapons on the outside. The running game's coming along, and the defense has even gotten better because we was pretty generous. Everybody was scoring 40 points on us. You think back to the Packers, think back to the Giants. We had to beat them 40-37 in overtime, and they're a train wreck. So trying to get stuff tightened up. Quentin Williams from the Jets is a nice new addition. So we'll see. Still got some work to do, but they're playing better, and it's been fun to see.
Well, I hope we meet the Cowboys in the playoffs. It always warms my soul.
Yeah, that's our fault. We the ones that make it warm because we trip all over ourselves in the 4th quarter. So until we give you a reason to not want to see us, you're gonna always want to see us.
And look, man, like Brock Purdy is got him and Jalen Hurts. I know you're not a Jalen Hurts fan because he's on the Eagles, but those dudes are in the same boat. People have these preconceived notions about them and who they are and what they do, and they don't let anything change it. Like Jalen Hurts was the better quarterback in 2 Super Bowls, and he actually won one. But he was the better quarterback in both of them, right? He played well enough to win. So we keep having this thing is he good? Is he not good? Jalen Hurts is good. Like
Yeah, he is.
full stop. Like, if people keep talking about Purdy, he had a terrible game with 3 interceptions against the Panthers. But the Niners won. So that's a good thing. Like, but I saw a bunch of Packers fans talk about how Purdy's this, Purdy's that. Again, I love my cheesehead brothers and sisters, but I watched Jordan Love 2 years ago in the playoffs, the last 2 drives of that playoff game. Remember, they beat Dallas, Green Bay did.
Oh,
They
yeah, I
played
remember.
San Francisco, and his last 2 passes with the game on the line against San Francisco, do you know what happened those last 2 passes? Interceptions to seal the game. I don't want to, like, again, the anti-Brock people like, oh, you all go back to blah, 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 blah. Listen, I've said, with all due respect, Dak Prescott, good quarterback. We think he can play well in the playoffs, but we have not seen it.
Yeah.
Right? They think Justin Herbert can play well. I haven't seen it. I have seen Brock Purdy, when the team was down, step up and make plays. I have seen that. Like, that's no theory. That's no, well, maybe he could have. I've seen that. I've not seen it from these guys. I've seen Jalen Hurts make big-time throws in the postseason, in the Super Bowl. I've seen him make plays. There's no theory to that. But depending on where you come from, people still like, I don't know about Jalen Hurts. Well, okay. Anyway, that was my roundabout way to upset some Packers fans. But in their defense, they've seen a lot of really talented quarterbacks throw a lot of interceptions in the playoffs to end their season.
Yeah.
Hey, like you start, you and I, we talked about this. They clipped it on BS3. This notion you have to have a super great quarterback to win a championship. You absolutely do not.
Mm-hmm.
We went through it. What did Terry Bradshaw do? Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson. Like what did Peyton Manning do? The year with the Broncos, have a really great defense.
Yeah.
Like you absolutely don't have to have this specimen of a quarterback. Because as great as some of these quarterbacks are, I've seen them in the playoffs, and Aaron Rodgers only had one Super Bowl appearance. Feels
a little empty, I guess. Underwhelming.
Yeah. And I know wins on a quarterback stat, but yeah.
That's right. Well, this was fun, man. This was fun. Yeah. Be careful heading back, and no way to brace for the weather, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be minus 25 when I get back to Iowa.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. As I was out there with my snow plow the other day with our 11, 12 inches of snow, I said, I chose to do this. Me, my neighbor out there like this, I'm like, I chose this. This is crazy. Like, do you people know Florida exists? Like, you don't have to do this.
Arkansas 45, Louisville 28. 1 minute left in the first half.
Ooh. Yep. I get to hate watch. I get to hate watch this NFL weekend. My team's on a bye. I like to hate watch. I understand it. If you can't beat, look, Louisville fans, Tennessee fans, I get why y'all hate outside the club. I get why y'all happy that Kentucky went 38-1, even though you were the 38 and not the 1. I understand why that makes you happy. I get it now. If your team can't do it, root for a team that can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I get it now.
That's
Hating
right.
from outside the club is my new thing. Like, oh, this is great.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm with you. I do it too. I did it last night. Even though we lost, I did watch Syracuse beat Tennessee. So I was like, yes. All right. So it's not even the Carrier Dome anymore. It's the JDA Wireless Dome or something now. I was like, when did this happen? The carrier quit giving y'all money. Oh, okay. All right, then. But yeah. Nice win for the Qs. They even stormed the court after beating Tennessee. So whatever y'all want to do. Okay. And then I had to just, watch us lose. So I'm not talking much junk anymore. Until we, let's win a big game against somebody. Anybody.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all tuning in on the Twitter and the YouTube and the Facebook and the live streets and everybody that listens and retweets and comments. Michelle, we appreciate you. Coach Truck from Big Things Kentucky, boss man Ben Sutterth. Congratulations here at Tar Heel, sir. Be back next week to talk about whatever happens between now and then. Volleyball, do your thing. Got 2 matches, hopefully. Tomorrow, starting the journey against Wofford. Hope you survive and advance and move on through the tournament. But pack out Historic Memorial Coliseum because that's going to be a fun atmosphere. It's tournament time in the Bluegrass for the best team on campus, and it starts tomorrow evening.
Yes, sir. Go Cats.
Go Cats. See everybody next week. Cats Talk Wednesday. We'll catch y'all later.